So it's no secret that Death Stranding is one of the most controversial games of this year, maybe even of this generation. The game has been highly anticipated for a very long time, ever since the PT demo came out and Silent Hills was cancelled, with Kojima announcing his own studio shortly afterwards. Have people been anticipating this game, and myself included. Now, what we're going to do today is not really so much discuss the whole topic of controversy, because I feel like that's been discussed at length by other people. Today, I actually want to discuss whether or not this game is worth the purchase. Now, it's a $60 game, brand new, AAA title, or, consider it a AAA title game. I mean, you can think of it maybe as kind of a in-between of an indie and a AAA, because it's Kojima's own company, but it's the first game that they've ever put out as a company. So, I mean, you could take that how you will. So it's a $60 game. Is it worth the $60 price tag? Or is it a game that you should maybe wait and maybe even pass up? Now, like I've stated, the whole topic of the controversy has been stated many, many times. I'll just give a quick rundown on it. Some people like it, some people don't. You see people giving it a high score, but then at the same time they say it's a boring game. If you give it a high score of an 8 or 9, how can it be a boring game? At the same time, you have other people who are giving it a really bad score, saying that it's probably one of the most boring games that they've ever played. And I can understand the argument of that, and I can understand the argument where people are happy with the game. Now, where do I sit in this? Well, I'm actually very happy with the game. I like the gameplay style, although there's a lot of tutorials in this game. There's a lot of stuff to learn when you're playing the game. There's just a lot of stuff. It's a lot. I don't have any other way to put it except for the fact that there's a lot of stuff in this game. So, with that said, I do enjoy the game. I've been playing it, and it's very easy to immerse yourself within this quote-unquote walking simulator, as people tend to put it. Now, it's more than that. There's a lot more going on in this game than just walking around delivering packages. There's enemies both in the physical form of humans and the metaphysical form or the paranormal aspects of the game that surround it, where you have the BTs, which are, I guess, would be considered ghosts. That's the best way that I can explain it. So you have those enemies that you can't really fight against. You can just run and hide, and if they catch you, then they take you into this otherworldly place that basically rips out your soul from your body, because you have to return to your body, basically giving you an out-of-body experience. And as I played through this game, like me knowing a lot about the paranormal field, because I've been in the paranormal field doing paranormal investigations and stuff like that, I can relate to a lot of the content and the substance that is in this game. So I can see where many people don't understand some of the references or some of the symbolisms that are in the game. Like, for example, bridge babies. Now, the reason, or what I can gather from the bridge babies, is that children in general are, especially when they're babies, are more susceptible to seeing the other side. Like, they're able to see ghosts or spirits. Sometimes they say that when children are laughing in the middle of the night, or they're interacting with something, that they might be interacting with angels or family members who have passed on, who have come to visit them. Now, that's all, like I said, it's all speculation in the paranormal field. There's no actual concrete evidence for stuff like that, but you have a baby and you tell me. Like, I have 2 kids and I've seen things that you just can't explain. So, with that being said, that's what the BBs are. That's what the bridge babies are. Basically, they bridge the living world and the world of the dead. They allow you to see the dead by connecting with them. And so I get that. I mean, there's a ton of different symbolisms between the paranormal and, the other life or the afterlife in this game, and I think it's Personally, that's one of the things that draws me to this game. Now, this game's not for everybody. That's 100%. Not every game is for everybody. And I feel like the people who are saying that it's boring, obviously this game wasn't made for them. They don't resonate with the themes of the game, and I can understand that. And I'm not saying they're wrong for saying that it's boring. I completely understand. I mean, there's a lot of games that I don't like. Fortnite, for example. I hate Fortnite. I can't stand it. I think that the whole battle royale phase or craze or whatever, like, to me, I don't like it. To me, those games are boring because there's no substance. I like games with substance. I like games having a story, a very in-depth story I can get lost and immersed in. And I know a lot of people are upset with the fact that there's a lot of cinematics in these type of games, and they don't like games with a lot of cinematics, and they feel like cinematics that there's increasingly more and more games with cinematics. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, that's untrue. And I'm gonna call him out really quick, only because I watched his video recently. Richard Review Tech was talking about Death Stranding, and he was complaining that he doesn't want games to have more and more cinematics as more games come out. Now, here's the thing. Cinematics have been in games forever. You ever played RPG games? There's tons of cinematics. And I'm going to tell you right now, to give an example, if you ever played Xenosaga, which was on the PS2, Xenosaga, oh my god, you want to talk about cinematics? There were so many cinematics in Xenosaga 1 that they even released a DVD that had all the cinematics. If you pre-ordered Xenosaga 2, they released a DVD of all the cinematics in Xenosaga 1, and I'll tell you right now, I think it's over 230 some odd minutes of cinematics that they put together in a movie for the first game. The ending of the first game, I believe the cinematic was about 20 minutes long. So cinematics have been around for a very, very long time. It just depends on what kind of game that you're playing. Now, in a game like Death Stranding, it's not an RPG, it's more of an action adventure style game with horror elements to it. And so I can see maybe you don't want a whole ton of cinematics, maybe a couple cutscenes here and there. Okay, I get it. Maybe you want this game to be a little bit more like the Uncharted series, or maybe more like Last of Us. All right, cool. It's still those are still very story-driven games with less cinematics. All right, if that's your argument, I understand. But to say that games nowadays are going more and more the cinematic route, no, I have to disagree, because they've been that way for a very, very long time. Ever since they had the power to create cinematics in the PS1 era, they've been increasing cinematics in games. So to fault Death Stranding for that, I don't think is a fair argument. If you're gonna go ahead and argue that the gameplay is not for you, that the story is too complicated for you to understand or follow, that the game is too long for you, okay, I get that. I get those arguments. I understand them 100%. But the cinematic thing, I think, is kind of a weak argument. As far as the gameplay goes, the gameplay for me is a lot of fun. I actually find it quite enjoyable to stack up as many packages as I can onto Sam and balance as I'm trying to make my way over to the next point of delivery. I actually find that very, very fun. And then once you start interacting with BTs because of the time fall, which is rain, just to give you a quick idea, when it rains in the game, it speeds up time. So whatever the rain touches, that gets sped up in time. So if it touches their skin, if it touches human skin, it will age their skin. It would age the people if they are exposed to the rain. So they need to have themselves covered when the time fall happens. So when a time fall happens, you typically interact with the BTs or the other world. And that's when it gets really interesting as far as the gameplay goes, in my opinion, because now you're playing as Sam, who has a ton of packages, who can't run very fast if you have him overloaded, and who loses his balance if you have him maneuvering different ways trying to escape these BTs. So it ends up becoming more of a stealth kind of game, which I really like that. I'm not a huge fan of stealth games. The Metal Gear games, I played the first Metal Gear Solid game. It wasn't for me. I was not a huge fan, but I understood why people enjoyed the Metal Gear Solid franchise as much as they did. So I can't say that going into this I'm a huge Kojima fan, because I'm not. I was just interested in this game because of my interest in paranormal, and the gameplay looked interesting enough for me to want to pick it up. But as I stated before, this game is not for everybody. So if you're not big on action-adventure games, then maybe you want to pass this one over. But if you are big on action-adventure games, and I still have you at this point of the game, or at this point of the game, at this point of the conversation, then maybe this might be for you. If you enjoy games like Last of Us, if you enjoy games like the Uncharted series, when I say Tomb Raider, the newer Tomb Raiders that are a little bit more explorable, then maybe these games might, or this game might be in your corner. And I'm not saying this game is going to be Game of the Year. It might get nominated. And, I mean, let's be honest, 2019 hasn't been that huge for gaming. There's been a couple games that have released that have been fantastic, but overall it's not the same caliber that 2018 was. So with that, I could see this game being nominated Game of the Year, but that's not what this discussion is about. So now we hit the points I wanted to hit in the discussion. Now, is this a game that is worth buying? It's a complicated answer. Long story, maybe. Short story, maybe. As I said, if you are not a huge fan of action-adventure games, then you might want to skip this one. But, at the same regard, if you are a big fan of horror elements, then this might be one that you might want to pick up. Now, I'm not saying like it's horror like a Resident Evil game, or horror like Layers of Fear or Outlast. It's not like that at all. It's not even like the PT demo, but it does have horror elements in the fact that when you're grabbed by the BTs, it is a little frightening just when it happens, because I know for a fact for me, I jumped a couple times when Sam got grabbed by the BTs trying to drag him down and bring him to the other side of the, the other side, which is the other world. So I can see maybe if you're into horror, you might want to pick it up. I can see if you are in action adventure, you might want to pick it up. If you like intricate stories, if you like story-driven games, this is a game for you. If you like new style of gameplay, if you like those harder to play games, because this game's not that easy of a game to play because it has a lot of different mechanics in it, this game might be for you. Now, $60 is a hefty price tag. If you're on the fence about buying this game, maybe you don't want to buy it at $60. Maybe it's not worth $60. Maybe it's worth a little bit less than that. For me, it was a day one purchase, no brainer. I was excited for this game. Again, I'm not a Kojima fan. I respect the work that he does. I'm not a hardcore fan. But if you're on the fence, then maybe the $40 price tag that would happen in a couple months is more to your liking. Maybe that's something you want to hold off on and just go to your local GameStop when you see the game's on sale, or download it on your PS4. When it drops on PC, because it will be coming to PC, when it drops on PC, if you're on the fence now, I would say don't buy it first day release. Again, on PC, first day release, it'll be a $60 price tag. Now, the game itself looks gorgeous. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a PS4 Pro. I have a regular PS4. So loading times in this are a little bit taxing. As well as the environments, I can tell. It's one of these games that you can heavily tell that it was made with a PS4 Pro in mind. Now, taking this game away from a regular TV and putting it onto my 144 hertz monitor, that is made for gaming, it looks better. It looks so much better than it does on my regular TV that is only 60 hertz 1080p. So with that being said, the game does look like it was made with PS4 Pro in mind. So if you have a PS4 Pro, you're going to enjoy the graphics, as it is one of the most beautiful games that is on the PS4 to this date. Or up to this point. Before this, I would have said that the best looking game was Detroit Become Human, and that's a game that was the first game to ever make me feel bad that I didn't have a PS4 Pro. This is probably the third game that made me. The second game would have been Resident Evil 2 Remake. So, I will reiterate, if you're on the fence, maybe you want to wait. Don't buy this game at $60. It's not worth it for you if you're on the fence. If you were like me, you probably already own the game. And you're here because you wanted to get another opinion on the game and see how somebody else might have enjoyed it as well. I did enjoy it. I've said it before. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm not done with the game. I'm like 15 hours in or something like that. It's so easy to get sidetracked in this game. This game suffers from what I like to call Red Dead 2 syndrome. And that is, in Red Dead 2, when I was playing it, I would get sidetracked so much with different tasks or hunting or just doing different things in the environment that it took me so long to play the game and get to the end of it. This is one of those games that has me doing so many other things, not even side quests. I just get sidetracked in general exploring the fully explorable maps. It's not like some other games where you're blocked off from certain sections. No, everything in this game, every single section of the maps in this game are fully explorable. 100%. You can scale a mountain. You can go ahead and put a rope to climb down a mountain. You can build ladders, build bridges, build things to traverse the different landscapes easier. It's a very, very well thought out game, which is one of the reasons why there's so much to do, and one of the reasons why I can see it being a drawback. So to me, the game's not boring, but I can see where people would think that it is. Because there is a lot of walking. There's a lot of back and forth. Now, this isn't a full review on the game or anything like that. This is just to answer the question if this game was worth it. So let me know down in the comment section if you have played Death Stranding, if you're enjoying it, or if you're not enjoying it. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, was this game worth a $60 investment? Now, I did buy the collector's edition, but we'll talk about that in another video. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Leave a comment, guys, and I'll catch you all later. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out, guys.